I give a 40, 50,000 cash to start up a business. I spend that bitch at the business. I'd rather pocket and pay for a rent for a year just to get out of her feelings. I'm on the level, trick on my hood, nobody gon' tell me. Going to Cali, pick my week for sure, nobody gon' mail me.
Because he went to pickandpull.com to recycle his old junk car.
And got cash.
Immediate cash when you go to pickandpull.com or call 800-442-JUNK.
Call 800-442-5865 and Pick and Pull will arrange a tow and give you a top dollar quote for your junk car.
Running or not.
Doctor's orders.
So call 800-442-JUNK and get cash for your junk car.
800-442-5865.
It's your prescription for immediate money.
Call 800-442-JUNK or go to pickandpull.com.
Y no ves, COVID-19 is spreading faster than ever in Sacramento and all of California. The Delta variant is even more contagious, so it's better at finding anyone who isn't vaccinated. No bajes la guardia, ponte la máscara y ve a vacunarte. Get your mask and head to the nearest vaccination site. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your neighborhood, including kids, from COVID-19 is to get vaccinated. Sign up for your vaccine at myterm.ca.gov.
Injury law. They fight to get you the most money possible. It doesn't matter your legal status. You still have rights. Remember, it's the insurance company's job to say no. It's B&D Law Group's job to get them to say yes. Car, motorcycle, truck accident experts, dog bite specialists, slip and fall teams of lawyers. Expert lawyers are standing by to take your call. Call them right now at 916-545-7772 and discuss your case. It's always free to call. 916-545-7772. Get the compensation you deserve and pay nothing unless they win. Call them right now, 916-545-7772. Remember, when the insurance company says no, it's their job to get them to say yes. Get the compensation you deserve regardless of your legal status. Call now, 916-545-7772. 916-545-7772. B&D Law, Injury Law. They fight to get you the most money possible.
Sunday, it's the savings event of the season. Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-A-Thon. Your chance to save big by bundling your home and auto insurance. But only this Sunday. Unless you're busy, in which case you can bundle Tuesday. Or if you already have dinner plans, then try Friday. But if the week gets away from you, you can just wait till next Sunday. Because Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle Extravafesta Save-A-Thon isn't going anywhere. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Welcome to the show. Let's get ready to rumble. I've always loved saying that. Welcome to the show. This is Charlton at Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And all those good boys around the country, I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners. And Latin America, also across the pond, and London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, we love you in Canada and Africa, the Big C tribe. But there's no one we love more than the good old boys across the country. In the land of the free and the home of the brave and the beautiful. It is August the 18th, 2021. Ground to the Portes. Bonjour. I want to say welcome to the show. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide. Really appreciate it. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers. Home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, just tell them Charlton and Big C sent you, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars. Never stop arriving, always go forward. Also, I want to say all around the world, just say Google or Alexa, play Big C Sports Podcast. You will hear from our sponsors. You will hear, welcome to the show. Let's get ready to rumble. All for a love of war. And I really do appreciate the way things are growing with Big C Sports. You can follow Big C Sports on Spotify. You can follow Big C Sports on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. If you're ready to have a smart TV, you'll be sitting there listening to a still picture. Man, Podchaser, Spreaker, Apple, Google. There's so many applications that I've drawn on to the Big C Sports Podcast. Really do appreciate that. But the application, I want everyone that's out there listening somewhere in the universe, pay attention to our veterans. We have a Veterans Crisis Hotline. We know what's going on with Afghanistan. A lot of veterans are going with issues. But to make sure if you know any veterans going through issues, it doesn't have to be a veteran. It could be someone that you know personally. Pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. 8255. That's 800-273-8255. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You can also text to 838-255. That's 838-255. I know a lot of people, they don't want to text. Sometimes you got to pick up the phone and call, or you can text. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net, and you can definitely get some help for our veterans and their loved ones. I'm also very happy to be affiliated with Valley Homes Weekly TV on Dish TV, Direct TV, AT&T Uverse, TV of the first place San Francisco Giants, and I want some tickets. Home of the Say Hey Kid and the home run king Barry Bonds. The pitch, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run into the Cubby Cove. The great Barry Bonds, the home run leader of Major League Baseball. When you reach out to him, just tell him Big C sent you. Our goal is simple. Charlton wants World Series tickets. You think I'm joking, but they say you have not because you asked not. So I've already put in my request ahead of time. I really want to make sure that we do that. Our goal is simple: recruit 10,000 real estate agents and brokers all over this country to help put people back to work, because you got the green light. Just like McDonald's does it, Nike does it, car dealerships do it, sports teams are doing it. Watch TV and real estate work for you. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. Or if you're looking for work, and I want to thank Sandy, that's also applying to work with the Big C team in mortgages, helping people buy homes. Go to bigcsports.pacwm.com. Most of our loans are underwritten by Rocket Mortgage, the #1 lender in the country on the wholesale side. When you need a loan, don't just be sure, be rocket sure, because you've got the green light. You always want to have the green light in your life. Also, United Wholesale Mortgage. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like God said in Genesis 1:3, let there be light. Open your cell phones and say it. Play Big C Sports Podcast. You will see all of our apps pop up, and I really do appreciate the way things have grown with Big C Sports. I also want to say Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol and 100% on your game. Yeah, you can clear about that. Also, proud sponsors of the Big C Sports Podcast. It goes great with the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with exotic meats. And for those of you, again, who want to know, man, Charlton, you keep talking about this Big C Burger. You keep saying it's a tasty burger. You said it comes with all these exotic meats. If you watch Sam Jackson on Pulp Fiction, it's about maybe 2 decades ago the movie came out. It was written, produced by the great Quentin Tarantino. It had the great Sam Jackson, award-winning actor. Also, John Travolta, another award-winning actor. It had Bruce Willis. I believe he's an award-winning actor as well. And Uma Thurman, I believe she's also an award-winning actress. And right before they shot the guy, that's a mean way to get a burger. Usually people just pay for it, right? But the great Sam Jackson, before they shot the guy that wouldn't give some information, he bit the burger and said, man, what's all these exotic meats? Well, that's the Big C Burger before they even made it popular. All's fair in love and war. You got to have the green light in your life. Everybody, at some point in time, you need to have that green light in your life. I always want to pay homage to my green lights in my life because it's so important. And I'm going to pay homage before I even go into why Big C Sports Podcast is an Espy Award winner for the best sports show in the universe. Really appreciate that. I want to pay homage to every tree, especially every tree that has a lot of green leaves on it, okay? If it has a green leaf on it, it probably has a really good root structure. If it has the green leaves, it probably has a good root structure. There's a lot of trees that are burning down in California, and they're just burned up. But the ones that survive, they have a strong root structure. If you have a strong root structure, you'll be better off no matter what storm you're going through. I want to pay homage to my mother's side. We called her, my great-grandmother, we called her Mamo, Hattie Leach, and my great-grandfather, Pop. Also, my grandmother, Mudia, and then Hezekiah. And then, of course, my great beautiful mother, the most beautiful mother in the history of the universe. Really appreciate that, saying that to Mom. Also, on my father's side, Albert Curry, and then Alberta Curry, as well as my father, Everett. So I really appreciate that I come from, I would say, a green light. Because that green light in strong parenting, it opened up so many opportunities that I have to this day. It's just like anything else in life. You gotta open those opportunities. There's a message I want to give that I think everyone can really believe in when it comes to having a green light in your life. Not everybody's going to believe in you. You got to believe in you. You got to give yourself the green light. If you don't give yourself the green light, then you won't have it. It goes into Genesis 13:15, where God said, "For the land that thou seest will I give thee, and thy seed forever." And I believe my foundation of great-grandparents and parents have opened up the door for Big C Sports Podcast. So I want to say, as we say, let's get ready to rumble! The reason Espy nominated by Disney Corporation. Welcome to the show. Best podcast. Really appreciate paying homage to my children, Daisy and Malcolm. Also at times Big C that helped things get started. There were 5 original people throughout time that when Big C Sports started and went national in 2015, I'm the only one in the driver's seat. I'm flying solo like that F-15 fighter. It's all fair and level where I pay homage to God. And again, for anyone voting on the Espy's, take every broadcaster that you see, and I really mean this, and see their talents. Are their talents just reading the teleprompter? A lot of them do that. If not a teleprompter, they don't have a show. But I produce, that's number 1. Number 2, I direct the topics. Number 3, I broadcast the shows. Number 4, I do the sound effects for every Big C Sports podcast. Number 6, I do the commercials. Number 7, I provide stats. I do storytelling. I do Bible verses. I upload the show to every of the 14 multiple podcast platforms I upload the show to. And I upload every show to the 4 TV platforms. That's just by one black man. That's Charlton of Big C Sports. So as I say to everyone, there's a story about a farmer. There's a farmer that went out and he harvested all the green vegetables that he had in his garden. He didn't pick the ones that were dried and rotted out, the ones that were green. Like okra, okra is green, broccoli's green, green potatoes are green, spinach is green, watermelon's green, a lot of good things are green. At the same time, the farmers took their produce to the market. And the farmers that only took one talent, meaning they were reading the teleprompter. Okay, they took one talent, they were reading that teleprompter. Nothing wrong with that. And then there's a farmer that has 10 different talents. I just read them off to you. So for sponsors out there in the sports universe, there are people in podcasts that make between $1 million and $10 million a year. And some of them only take one talent to harvest. They take one talent to the market. Well, Charlton with Big C Sports, and this comes from Disney. She says, "You, my friend, are magic." I didn't ask her to say that, she said it. Everyone loves to be complicated or complimented. And sometimes it's complicated. It can be complicated when someone's complimenting you. At the same time, everyone wants to be complimented. Everyone wants to have that green light in life. And I was told by grandparents and other people in business, you are only as successful as the green lights in your life. Some people have a yellow light in their life. Some people have green lights and red lights. Run away from red lights. But when the light turns green, that's when you peel out. No, don't peel out, but you take off, you go through it. We need to have green lights in our relationships. We have to have green lights for so many reasons. The reason that Big C Sports is so near and dear to my heart is like breathing. I love to breathe. Everybody loves to breathe. And to breathe life into things. So if you have a green light in your life, whether it's traffic, at a traffic light, green light means go. Yellow light means prepare to stop. Red light means stop. You got to have green lights in your love. Are there people that really love you and they say it's yours? They give you what you want? Or are there people who have strife and they don't give you what you want? In fact, some of them barely even say hi to you. You make the call. You got to have a green light in your hope. Like, what do you hope for? What did Disney say? When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. And people going, you suck, man. You can't sing. That's okay. I do the best I can. You sing. But you got to sing hope into your life. So who are the green lights into your life? I want to tell you something about why Big C Sports is on today. It has been on every day since 2015. It's because I never missed a show. Because I never quit, even in some of the roughest days of my life. I never quit. Because I love the show like I love breathing. It's not for everybody, though. Who will help you clear the fog in your life? Life has, as a metaphor, there are people who will create fog in your life that will bring strife and division into your life and lies and manipulation. Like on a scale of 1 to 10. Really, on a scale of 1 to 10 in your life, anyone around the world, in fact, anyone around the universe, even the people on the space shuttle, on the whatever satellite stations out there floating around, everybody, on a scale of 1 to 10, how honest are the people in life that you deal with? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, they're the red lights. 5 being, well, they only lie sometimes when they need something, right? So that's the yellow light. They lie sometimes they don't. Well, that's like sometimes you press the brake pedal on your car, sometimes it stops, sometimes it don't. Not a good thing, right? Especially when you're trying to stop from going over a cliff. But some people have those kind of friends. You don't know if they're for you or against you because they're always clandestine and planning things against you. They don't do it in front of your face, they just do it behind your back. You know, people who work late but don't bring in extra money, they're out there doing whatever they got to do. They're doing what they want to do. And then you have those green lights. The yellow lights, you don't know what they want because they think if they lie to you, they're more apt to get what they want. But you know, the truth should set you free. If you ask for exactly what you want, you're more likely to get it. On that scale of 1 to 10, the people in your life and my life too. This was told to me by a wise person. Think about it. If you have a green light in your life, you're more likely to get yes from people who love you. You're more likely to get yes from people who want to help you in business. You're more likely to get yes from people who want to help you, give you a hand up when you fall down, and all of us fall down. We all have that. I know people want to hear touchdown, home run, three-point play. But even a team, you're going to see teams in the NFL, they're going to start cutting players. Not with a knife, the way Sam Jackson did in Pulp Fiction, but they're going to tell them, you didn't make the team. You can pick up all your belongings and then turn them in to the office. At the same time, I want to be the red light in your life when it comes to podcasting. Big C Sports wants to be the green light in your life when it comes to podcasting. I don't want to be the red light. I want to be the green light. A stop sign says stop. And then you go. But a green light means go all the time. A yellow light means prepare to slow down. And the red light means stop. And I want to be your green light. That's why I ask for exactly what I want, no equivocation. All fair and love and war. I hope that young people can take that message into school. Have your goals written down on paper. If you have it written down on paper, it's more like a green light and it's more apt to come true. And I know that happens. Again, in the Bible, the King James Version, people say the Bible, this is a sports show. Yeah, athletes pray before they play. The book of James, verse 2 and 3, you'll find it. You have not because you ask not. So if you want something, start asking for it. Don't hope, ask, and then hope, and then pray, whatever that takes. That's for young people that are thinking, how can I get what I want in life? It's a work in progress too. I'll tell you, I'm looking to build Big C Sports into a $1 billion corporation. It's going to happen. Bob Johnson did it with the BET. He did it because he didn't quit and then he sold it off. Just like Oprah. She grew up poor, what people would say the wrong side of the track. Now she's a billionaire. Rihanna, one of the most beautiful women in the history of the universe. The great Rihanna, the entertainer's net worth of $1.4 billion. She wasn't born with $1.4 billion, but she got smart enough to get professional photos. Not the selfies that people take and send them out to people. She got professional photos. And then she sent them out. And then she did performance. People saw her music, or they listened to her music. She didn't hide behind not being afraid of failure. You know, sometimes people, even what I do, I can be afraid. I can say, man, what if I mess up? What if people say, man, you suck? Yeah, you do suck. I've heard people say, you suck, man. No one likes your voice. I've heard people say, no one's going to listen to you. And now I can go to any Super Bowl, any World Series, any NBA championship because I have the credential media with Big C Sports. What if I listened to those red lights in my life? What if I would have listened to those yellows? You know, they lie to you all the time. You don't know if they're telling the truth or lying because they lie so much. That's why if you ask people what they want and then hold them accountable. That's what I was taught as a young boy. So get rid of those red lights and even yellow lights and just do it with green lights. You're more apt to get what you want. And that in a nutshell is why Big C Sports, again, told by Disney Corporation. I know casting directors, anyone trying to get in the movies, I can't say I can get you the part, but I know I can put you in touch with the casting directors for Disney Corporation. the #1 entertainment company in the universe. But you got to ask, and I would be your green light if you let me. If you don't want to, then deal with people who want to give you yellow and red lights because they're all over the place. A lot of you meet them on dating websites. They're swiping left and they're swiping right. And you're just one of 50 people that they swiped on that month. That's not special. How many people want to be one of 50 of anything? Maybe if it's a millionaire, yeah, it's okay to be one of 50 millionaires, or one of 50 that make a football team on a 53-man roster. That's okay. But when you're looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love, or as the great Eddie Murphy said, looking for nub in all the wrong places, looking for nub. It's okay if you're looking for nub or love. Is this the man who wrecked the buffet at the Harold Club this morning? That's Eddie Murphy. Everybody has to just go for what you want in life. I love bringing my experience of storytelling and also personal experience. I pay homage to God and my family on every show, every single show. Because I think if the atheists can think about misogyny and beating up women and knocking women around and abusing women and hitting and running and having babies all over the country from different women and baby mamas, that's not edifying. That's not edifying at all to your mothers and grandmothers or grandfathers and fathers. That's not edifying at all. But you have some rappers that make millions of dollars singing about beating up women, beating it up, whipping it up, rubbing it around, and calling bitches the whatever derogatory word they want to come up with. As long as they have a good beat to it, they'll get a record deal. And now women are saying, or some entertainers are saying, if you want to be a bottom feeder, give me some money. What a joke. Imagine what the great-grandparents feel when they hear their offspring saying, if you want to be a bottom feeder, if you want to get with me, you got to open up your wallet first. I mean, whatever you want to do, people, that's a legal profession too. I'm just saying, us all fair and loving war. Young people, be careful. Going back to school, don't let people take advantage of you. Make them tell you what they want. Am I your green light, your yellow light, or your red light? I want to have a green light in everything that I do. In love, in business, in work, in friendship, in praying, I want a green light, and you should too. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, we're going to talk more about what's going on. Are you ready for some football? Of course you're ready for football. Also a lot about baseball and what's going on all over the sports universe. In the words of the great Arnold Schwarzenegger, former California governor, I'll be back. Welcome back from the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the #1 podcast network in the universe, iHeartRadio Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports on Apple Podcasts. You can follow Big C Sports on Google Podcasts. There's so many apps you can follow them, and I really do appreciate the way things are going with Big C Sports. You can follow Big C Sports on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have a smart TV, or you'll be sitting there looking at a still picture. At the same time, I really want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in God said in Genesis 1:3, let there be light. Open your cell phones or your electronic device anywhere in the world and say play Big C Sports Podcast, and I really do appreciate the way things are growing with Big C Sports. I know everybody has that green light in their life. If you're a green light, let your light shine bright. Don't be timid. Ask for what you want. The only answer you're going to get is either yes or no. But really the only answer is yes, because you get no by not asking. Do it. I'm going to give everyone a quiz. It'll only take about maybe less than a minute. I'm going to hold up my hand, and you can do it too. If you look at the fact that some people may be ambidextrous, but if you hold up your right hand, hold it up for about 5 seconds in the air. And we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now put it down. Hold up your left hand. Do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put it down. With your left and your right hand, you only have 2 hands. Use your dominant hand to say what you want. So when you talk to people, if you learn to gesticulate with your hands, move your hands around, then you're apt to get what you want. You see people when they get angry at a child, they may point at that child, but they use their dominant hand. They rarely use their recessive hand. They use the dominant hand. If you notice, whenever you pick up a paper or a pen and the paper, you write your name with your dominant hand. That's a clue. Why don't you use your recessive hand? If you're right-handed, you use your right hand. If you're left-handed, you use your recessive hand, your left hand. And people say, what's that got to do with a sports show? It has to do with everything in life. Everything that you achieve in life is going to come from your dominant thoughts, like your dominant hand. If your dominant thoughts is, I'm a red light, and everybody can't trust you, you know if you're a liar and a cheater, if you forge people's names on documents, you know if you steal money, you already know that if you're a thief. You already know that. You know if people can't trust you with their legal documents because you're going to go sniffing through it. You know in some of your relationships, you're going to go outside of your own family and bring in a rat to destroy your own family. That means you're a red light. But when you're telling people and they see you're a red light, they would never do to their own family what you do to yours. And you know who you are, whoever you happen to be. Don't throw stones. Just own up to it. Because whatever you teach your children, they see it by your examples. Me included. If you're a yellow light, people know you lie sometimes, you tell the truth sometimes. They don't know if you're telling the truth or lying. Because a lot of people, they want you to lie to them. A lot of people, they don't want you to tell them the truth. I know many people in California in polyamorous relationships. That means they date whoever they want to date, they do what they want to do. But at least they're a green light about it. And then you have those yellow lights and those red lights, they just say they're working late. They say they're hanging out with their friends. And then the bush is burning like 10 commandments. All fair and love and war. They got to call the fire department to put it out. Fire's burning all over California because people swiping left and swiping right, if that makes sense to you. Just tell the truth about what you want to be. Be the green light in everybody's life. Speaking of green light, Big C Sports wants to be your green light. Today's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So won't you be my neighbor? As long as the neighborhood don't burn down. I mean, I feel bad for a lot of people in California. There's such smoke in the air. I don't smoke. I've never smoked. I've never done drugs in my life. Whatever people do, that's their business. But I feel like every time I talk, and I talk a lot, people say, I figured that out. It's all fair and love and war. But it smells like smoke. It's everywhere, in the lungs, in the eyes, in the ears, in clothing. It's on all the cars. I really hope that our first responders can put out all the fires. However, I have a clue. They're saying in 2021, we're having the worst fires in the history of California. Really? More than 200 years ago? Because right now we have airplanes that fly over with retardants. They drop retardants on the fields. We have fire departments from all over the state. In fact, the western states that will come into California to help put out fires. Think about that. These fires aren't started by campgrounds. They're not started because some good old boy decided, man, I'm not going to put my fire out. It's going to burn out on its own. No good old boy is doing that, throwing a cigarette out the window. Maybe a couple knuckleheads do that. But think about it. We have the best fire fighting apparatus in the history of the universe. So why are we having the worst fires in the history of California? It just seems like something's more than what meets the eye. If the state did not burn down, when they did not have tanker jets that could fly airplane retardant, when we didn't have massive fire departments that could come from all over the western states to help put out fires, we didn't have the worst fires in California then. If the caveman didn't have the worst fires in the history of California, why are we having more fires when we have the best technology to fight it? It just makes you go like the great Arsenio Hall. Things that makes you go It makes you go It doesn't make any sense. What I do know is that maybe it's a higher source than I understand. It doesn't make any sense. We have the best apparatus to put out fires. We have more fires than ever. Just like automobiles. What if we have the most accidents in the history of this country in 2021, where most people have cars, some are even self-driving, some will not even let you run into another car, they'll pump the brakes for you. They have self-parking. They have crumple zones. You can have a massive collision and still walk away because the technology is so great. So how could it be that we're having more wrecks than ever in the history of the country? That's not happening in cars. So why is it happening with fires? You make the call. All fair and love and war. I want to say the pitch. Hit deep. Right field. Back to the wall. Home run. Say hello to my little friend. The girls love the long ball, And men love to hit deep. All fair and love and war. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to start because something about baseball that I love so much, there's such a finality to it. It goes 9 innings unless it goes into overtime. I really wish they would just cap baseball. You get 9 innings. You get 1 chance for extra innings. Don't play any more than 10 innings. Just have it a tie. Because sometimes baseball games are going into 12 and 14 and 15 innings. 18 innings. Playing 2 games. Doesn't make any sense. Manfred, 9 innings and 1 overtime, meaning each team gets a chance to score in the 10th. Even if you got to put a runner already on first in the 10th to kind of give someone a chance to win. All fair and level war. Flying into Washington, D.C., Washington Dulles National Airport, Toronto Blue Jays at the Washington Nationals, and pay attention to Brad Hand. Keep in mind about him, the pitcher for Toronto. For Washington, it's Mason Thompson. Hear those names. I don't give out scores. Oftentimes I don't. If it's something that's kind of irregular, then I'll give it like an 18-3 score, something like that I'll do. But my friends from Las Vegas, they're big on these prop bettings. And oftentimes I say, Charlton, what's all these exotic meats? They want to get the Big C burger, and then they want to slip in, like those yellow lights. They say they really want to meet for ice cream, and they're trying to say, is there a hotel in town that we can go to get some ice cream? Well, you just ask. You have not because you ask not. At the same time, think about this. I love the game of baseball. Let's get 9 innings, Commissioner Manfred. Have 1 extra inning. Start the person on the extra inning on first base. See if we can get someone to score. So we can save players for the regular season as opposed to having players pitch too much and be worn out by the bullpen. I'm going to take flying out of Washington and fly over into the city of Denver, Colorado, and we have the San Diego Padres. I'm going to use my best baseball metaphor. It's so much smoke, I feel like my voice is so raspy. It's raspy. I don't like raspy voice, so I apologize if my voice is too raspy. I feel like Ed Orgeron, the coach of LSU, after an interview. It's all friend level one. In San Diego, flying into Denver, Colorado to take on the Colorado Rockies at beautiful Coors Field. The pitch, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run! Say hello to my little friend. That's the great Scarface, Al Pacino, Tony Montana in the movie Scarface. When he came, you didn't want him saying hello to my little friend because he was hurting people. He was like Sam Jackson. What's all this exotic meats? Don't want to have exotic meats at a baseball game unless it's really on the Big C burger. Pay attention. On the mound, Jake Arrieta. That's a good old boy, and Arrieta can do his thing. He's a pitcher for San Diego Padres. For the Colorado Rockies, great Ben Bowden. He was doing his thing for Colorado. Again, I don't give out scores. I just like bringing it up in Major League Baseball. I'm also going to fly out of Denver. I'm going to fly into Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they'll be hosting the Cleveland Guardians. They're still the Indians, but I like calling them the Guardians just to pay homage to our Native Americans. The pitch, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run! Say hello to my little friend. What a great baseball game. Not giving up the score, but you prop better guys, you know what kind of game that was. It's all fair level war. Pay attention on the mound for Cleveland, Justin Garza. Pay attention to his performance. Also, for the Minnesota Twins, Danny Colombi. Pay attention to him when it comes to that game. Going to fly out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we're going to fly deep into the heart of Cincinnati, Ohio, where they will host the Chicago Cubs. And I kind of feel bad for the Cubs. They've let go a lot of people. Just for whatever reason, they're going to be in the rebuild for maybe the next season or two. The pitch, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run! Say hello to my little friend, the great Al Pacino, Tony Montana. On the mound, pay attention, Manuel Rodriguez. Also, and that's for Chicago for the Cubs. For Cincinnati, keep in mind, Tyler Mahale. When you got that going, a lot of good things happen in that game. All fair 11 war. I'm going to get to more of the meat of the baseball schedule today. The meat. Speaking of meat, this segment is sponsored by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meats? The great Sam Jackson. I love saying it 2 ways. In fact, I want people to vote. I want to take a vote. You got to send in your ballot. Like Donald Trump said, count all the votes. They're not counting all the votes. And they said, Trump, you're ahead. Stop counting the votes. They said, Trump, you're behind. Oh, count all the votes. Oh, fair 11 war. Oh, is Trump a red light or a yellow light or a green light? All I know is gas costs about $5,000 a gallon right now at sea. When Trump was in office, gas costs about $3. You make the call. All's fair in love and war. Hey, everybody has their own opinion. Before you ask if Trump is a red light, a green light, or yellow light, look at that person in the mirror. Are you a yellow light in sheep's clothing? Are you a red light and people know you're a rat? Some people invite rats into their houses. Are you a green light? People may not like you. You may not like them, but whose side are you on? Everyone should be able to soar like an eagle. But eagles are not red lights. They're definitely not yellow. God let them to fly high. I want to get away. I want to fly away. Yeah, I don't sing like the great Lenny Kravitz, but he don't do sports like I do. It's all fair in love and war. All fair in love and war. I want to take you to another great game. It is Wednesday, the 18th of August. It's going to start later tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they are 18-43 on the road. The Dodgers, the defending world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, I believe they won the National League West, I think 8 years in a row. 8 years in a row. They are 38-20 at home. You make the call. Don't know the pitching matchups yet, but I know down at Chavez Ravine, they really have an all-star lineup with their pitching, so it might be a tough night for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They no longer have the great Willie Stargell coming in and doing his thing, or even Barry Bonds when he played back in the day. I want to take you we're going to fly out of LAX or John Wayne Airport, Southern California. Going to fly you into Arizona International Airport, where the Arizona Diamondbacks, them good old boys, they are hosting the Philadelphia Phillies, the city of brotherly love where they boo Santa Claus. Boo! And there's rumor that just maybe that Philadelphia will get rid of all their Philly cheesesteaks, and they're going to turn them in for the Big C Burger. It's all these exotic meats. It went out. Anytime you have the exotic meats, it might just help you do something. If you're a green light, you might experience something for the first time in your life. And that's people being nice to you and saying, yes, it's yours. You can have it. It's all fair in love and war. Have more time spent with green lights in your life. It makes it all worthwhile. You know who was a green light when I was growing up? My mother and father and my grandparents and great-grandparents. They were a green light because they gave me lots of love, gave me lots of hope. Also, I got my backside touched a couple times when I was not paying attention. If that makes sense to you. What's all these exotic punishments? That they had different ways. My grandmother, great-grandmother, she used to have to go get a switch. And some people say, oh, I don't believe in corporal punishment. As corporal punishment died down, the prisons built up. Is there a direct correlation? All fair love and war. Go get me that switch, boy, and bring it to me. I found switches that were 2 and 3 inches long. You could use them. You use them to pick her teeth. It's all fair love and war. All fair and love and war. Flying into Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are 25-36 at home. The Phillies are 25-33 away. That's pretty similar. The overall record, the Phillies are 61-58. The Diamondbacks are 39-81. So things aren't all similar. Pay attention on the mound, because the away pitcher, Philadelphia, the good old boy is so good, I'm going to say him second. The home pitcher, Humberto Castellanos, he has a 2.30 ERA, so he's a flamethrower. He was trained by the great Obi-Wan Kenobi long ago in a galaxy far, far away. I wish I could do the James Earl Jones voice. My father had that James Earl Jones voice. It's like, Luke, I'm your father. Anyway, I love the James Earl Jones voice, all friend level one. So a 2.30 ERA. He's a flamethrower at Jedi Knight, but not so fast, my friend, the great Lee Corso. The away pitcher is 5-3 in the season. His name is Ranger Suarez. His ERA, 1.07 ERA. Man, he's a flamethrower. You may as well stay in the dugout. It might save you an extra walk to the to the batter's box. That good boy can do his thing. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but this ERA is amazing, and they're on the road with that, so pay attention to that good boy. I want to take you as we fly out of Arizona. We're going to fly into the beautiful city of Chicago White Sox, and there was a player for the A's that was injured yesterday, and I just want to wish him thoughts and prayers. He and his family. You know, anyone who's been hit by a baseball, they know it can be pretty painful. I know firsthand. I was trying to pick up a ball that was grounded to third base when I was in Little League. It popped up, hit me right in the eye. I still got a little welt under that eye. All fair, level war. Yeah, I'm not bragging on myself as an infielder. I was a great pitcher. I still got 11 pitchers in one game, or 11 batters in one game, but I also got hit in the eye in that same game. It's all fair and level war. And so I really wish that the athlete, nothing but the best, he and his family. The pitch, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run! Say hello to my little friend. The girls love the long ball, and men love to hit deep. All fair, 11 war. The A's are 34-27 away. The White Sox are 41-22 at home. So who's your green light in that one? Who's the green light for Chicago? They're 41-22 at home. You know who the green light is? The great manager, Tony La Russa. Hall of Fame manager, first ballot, Tony La Russa. He's the green light. He did his thing for the Oakland A's. He was the green light for the Oakland A's. He was a green light for the St. Louis Cardinals. Did his thing for them. And now he's a green light for the Chicago White Sox. This team was in the abyss. I mean, they were in the abyss a couple years ago. Not now. He's a green light. Keep that in mind when you're hiring people. Pay attention when they're on the mound. The great Cole Irvin for the A's. Now, he's amazing. But he's only 8-11 in the win column. But he has a dominant pitching style. A 3.52 ERA. He's a Jedi Knight, trained by the great Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I know that good old boy is going to do his best on the mound tonight, giving the A's a chance. Also, at home, the great Lance Lynn. That good old boy, he's 10-3 on the season. He has a 2.33 ERA. He's a flamethrower. He's a Jedi Knight. He was trained by the great Obi-Wan Kenobi. So we have two of the best pitchers in baseball. The A's have been slipping just a little bit. Kind of like that slip and slide that I couldn't get on when I was a young boy because the white guy said we don't let black kids on. Really? I remember that. Went home and got my big brother, a lot bigger than him. He said, you can go right on through. It's all fair and level war. What's all these exotic meats? The great Sam Jackson. All fair and level war. I want to fly out of the city of Chicago, the windy city. Chicago's not called windy because the wind blows so much, and it does get cold, and the wind does blow, but it's windy for some of its politics. Sometimes people who shouldn't be in politics, they get in because they act like Sam Jackson or Ben Rames for the movie Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies of all time. That and Scarface. What does that tell you about my personality? But I also like Beverly Hills Cop. Eddie Murphy. Is this the man who wrecked the buffet at the Hero Club this morning? Is this the man who disabled a police car with a banana? You must be the pride of Big C Sports. All spirit level war. What's all this exotic beats? That's what Eddie Murphy should have said. When he threw that man, I think it was Victor Maitland's bodyguard, across the buffet of that table with all the exotic meats. The guy that he threw on the table, Eddie Murphy should have said, what's all these exotic meats? When you think about it. It's just maybe in Beverly Hills Part 9, they'll do it. All fair level war. Going to fly out of Chicago into Kansas City, Missouri. And we have some great baseball to be played in Kansas City with the Astros taking on the Royals. The pitch, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend. The Astros are 33-26 away. The Royals are 30-31 at home. Zach Greinke, that good boy, is on the mound for the Astros. He's 11-3 on the season. He has a 3.51 ERA, so you know he's going to be throwing flames. He's a flamethrower. He's a Jedi Knight trained by the great Obi-Wan Kenobi of Star Wars lore, all fair and 11 war. Beam me aboard, Scotty. The home pitcher for the Royals, Brady Singer. He's only 3-8, has a 5.42 ERA. Nothing to write home about. You make the call. Most likely another win for the Astros. Today also going to fly out of Kansas City. Going to fly into Arlington, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, DFW. I love that airport. The Mariners come to town. When the Mariners come to town, they're bringing a lot of fish and exotic meats. All fair and 11 war from Seattle. But they're 27-31 on the road. 64-56 overall. The Rangers are 28-32 at home and 42-77 overall. Not that good. You want to look at the home pitcher is Mike Folowitz. He is a 5.66 ERA. Nothing to be home about. And then Marco Gonzalez, he's a 4.25 ERA. He's not a Jedi Knight, but he can still do his thing. All fair and 11 war. Going to take you out of Texas, fly you into St. Louis, the Arch. And the Milwaukee Brewers are a very good baseball team. They're taking on the the St. Louis Cardinals. The 1-1, the pitch, hit deep, right field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend. The Brewers are 41-20 on the road. They're 73-47 overall. The Cardinals are 32-26 at home, and they're 61-57 overall. When you look at the mound, some dynamic pitchers. Both pitchers are Jedi Knight starters. For the home team, Jack Flaherty, he's 9-1 on the season. He has a 2.65 ERA. He's a Jedi Knight. He can do his thing. I really look forward to watching that pitching matchup, but not so fast, my friend. I know that's a good ERA. Freddie Peralta, 9-3 on the season, has a 2.26 ERA. He's a good old boy, a flamethrower. Pay attention to that game. I want to fly out of the city of St. Louis and fly into the city of Tampa, Florida. Those good old boys down in the state of Florida. And you have the Baltimore Orioles flying in there, and they're going to be taking on a good team. I'm not going to give out scores. I'm just going to say pay attention when Spencer Watkins is doing his thing, pitching, and then Brandon Lowe. Pay attention to that. And then Kevin Kramer also. Keep that in mind. Going to fly out of Tampa into the city of Detroit, city of brotherly love. The pitch, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend, All-Star in Leavenworth. You have the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim with the great Shohei Ohtani. He's pitching today. The great Shohei Ohtani. He's a great player. I'm going to put him up for the player of the year, at least in the American League. And then pay attention at bat for Detroit is Jonathan Scoop. And also pay attention to Victor Reyes. I really love the great Shohei Ohtani, what he's doing in Anaheim for the Anaheim Angels. Going to fly out of the city of Detroit into beautiful Miami. Bienvenido a Miami. Well, I love Miami International Airport. The only place prettier than Miami really is when you go down to the beaches of Los Angeles. They're both really beautiful, although I love San Francisco as well. The pitch, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say hello to my little friend, the Atlanta Braves. They fly into Miami, and keep in mind, pitching for Atlanta is Jesus Rodado, and then at bat, Dansby Swanson when you have Miami. I'm going to take you out of there and fly over to the I-95 battle with the New York Yankees. The Yankees! I won't say they win or lose. I don't give out the scores. That's my prop betting friends tell me not to. Boston flying into town, landed at New York LaGuardia Airport or JFK. Pitching for Boston's Nick Pivetta. He's a good old boy. He can do his thing. I also like for the Yankees, who are coming on strong, the great DJ LeMahieu. I really love the pitching matchup in that game. Also pay attention to Brett Gardner and also Giancarlo Stanton. That's a clue for all my prop betting friends. I love bringing you baseball, as a lot of people love the baseball universe. I really look forward to a lot of things that are going on in the world of baseball, and may everybody just love the game. It's all fair and love and war. I want to take you to the city by the bay in San Francisco, California, the most beautiful city in the universe, my opinion. I love San Francisco. The New York Mets, they came into San Francisco, the Veni Veni Vici. The game's already happened, so people can realize the score, but I won't give it out. Some people put it on DVR. But it's a great place to watch a ballpark, to watch a ball game. I will be there for the World Series in 2021. I already have some confirmation on World Series tickets. I really, really appreciate everything that's coming over from the San Francisco Giants, that organization. I was there when they opened the new, what they now call Oracle Park. It used to be called AT&T Park and Pacific Bell Park. But depending on what sponsor's check doesn't bounce, if the check doesn't bounce, you'll get the sponsorship, all fair and love and war. So I really look forward to that. So many things happening around sports, and everybody's getting ready for football. Football's about 22 days away from kickoff. I'm really appreciating what we're starting to see, because we're having preseason games. But let's be honest, preseason is like being on a date with a yellow light. It's just, you don't know what you're going to get. But if you get stood up on a date, that's a red light that you don't even get to go. Or sometimes if someone calls a rat they invite rats into your house, that's a red light for sure. Get those rats out. Get them out. Get them out. All fair and level war. But you want the green light for the kickoff of the football season. And that's what they're going to say, the great Bruce Buffer. Let's get ready to rumble! I love the great Bruce Buffer, one of the greatest commentators in the history of the universe when it comes to boxing. You would think the great Bruce Buffer would also be part of the NFL. I love football as much as any other sport. I love basketball too, but I'm not going to flop if anybody wants to get me on the court. Last night, got in trouble. Last night, messed around, got a triple-double. Ice Cube said something about a triple-double. I thought it was a hamburger until I saw the video. Ice Cube doing his thing. One of the greatest entertainers in the history of the universe. All fair in level war. If you're going to get me on the court, don't mess around and get a triple-double. Be nice. I will let you win. I promise. I want to be the green light like Shaquille O'Neal. People would foul him all the time. He didn't complain. He just came right back to the free throw line and missed a free throw shot. At least half the time. The other time he made them. But it's all fair and level war. I want to pay attention to a couple of games as we come down the back nine on Big C Sports. Today's show is sponsored by your Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on this game, and it goes great with the Big C Burger. It is a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this exotic meat? The great Sam Jackson. It goes great with Budweiser Zero. Week 1, right out of the gate. And I love the new Raider Stadium, Allegiant Stadium down in Las Vegas, Nevada. What $1 billion can do. If anyone had an extra $1 billion, would you spend it on a darn football stadium? Or would you spend it on other things, like the Big C Burger? It's a tasty burger. It comes with exotic meats, but it does not cost $1 billion. The Baltimore Ravens at the Los Angeles Raiders. Oh, I just said Los Angeles. I left my heart in Los Angeles. All fair and level word. It's the Las Vegas Raiders. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, if you don't know you're not in Vegas, it doesn't really matter. If a tree falls in the forest with green leaves and no one hears it, does it make a sound? Yes, it makes a sound. But we have the first Monday Night Football game of 2021. We'll see a packed house in Las Vegas. A friend, not a friend, but a guy, a former football player was telling me the lease or the minimum price on a ticket for the Raiders, $500. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe he's talking about the bookie price. Oh, fair level war. I said, man, you can buy the sports package on cable TV for the whole year for less than $500. But that's a game I really look forward to seeing. Also, we have Buffalo Bills at Tampa. That's going to be Week 14, the defending world or Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Josh Allen's making more money than touchdown Tom Brady with 7 championships. Josh Allen has no championships. Josh Allen was an MVP contender last year. And this year's hoping to take the Buffalo Bills. They're not going to the Super Bowl. They're not going. No, too many great teams in the AFC. But they will be a playoff team. And I'm telling you, they have a matchup against the reigning champions late in the season. And some people think it might be a Super Bowl preview. They said that last year when Buffalo went into Kansas City and got stomped. They're not going to be a Super Bowl team this year, but who knows? It's all friendly board. Jacksonville Jaguars at the New York Jets, and that's going to be Week 16. The top 2 picks of the 2021 NFL Draft, they're going to face off in Week 16 with the first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, and Jacksonville traveling north to take on the second overall pick and Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is not the same class of quarterback as Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Fields is better than both of them. Justin Fields won the 11-11 Elite Training Quarterback Camp, beat out Trevor Lawrence. But Justin Fields did not get the same media hype. They're both good, but when they went one-on-one, like some people who have the green light, you go one-on-one. You go one-on-one when you have the green light. You don't go one-on-one with yellow lights, and you definitely don't go one-on-ones with red lights. You know, the great R. Kelly is actually facing some legal issues, and I was just thinking out loud to people going up to college, make sure you have the green light from anybody. And definitely don't do it with people underage. That's a big red light. That's a big red light. And so some of you fraternities, you think you're going to get women drunk and have your way with them? Look at what's happening to R. Kelly today. I don't know what the outcome is. I just don't know. But I know if he had a green light in his life that he could have talked to, that would have kept him out of those gray areas. He wouldn't be sitting in an orange, if that makes sense to you. All fair and level war, which everybody nothing but the best. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Los Angeles Rams in Week 3. The biggest star of the football, Tom Brady, with 7 Super Bowls. He should have 6 because it was a fumble. The tuck rule, they robbed the Raiders. A lot of Raiders know that. Just like the immaculate reception with Franco Harris, they robbed the Raiders also. That ball hit the ground. Franco knows it. And also, Tom Brady knew it was a pass. It was a fumble against the Raiders when his arm was hit. The Raiders recovered. He walked up to the sideline with his head down. That's not the body language of a person that felt it was an incomplete pass. And the good old boys in Boston, from Boston, they got together and said, hey, if we don't say that was an incomplete pass, then our season's over. Okay? And that's what they did. They robbed them in broad daylight. Well, it was snowing, but they still robbed them. But the biggest star, Brady, coming into Los Angeles, the bright lights of Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. I love LA, one of the greatest cities in the universe. The moons and the stars, everything's great in Los Angeles. The diversity of the people. It used to be just a place where it was full of smog, like it is in Northern California with fires. It's no longer full of fog, but it's full of smog. It's a lot of fog now, based on the smog. And I just hope the firefighters and the first responders, man, I hope they do their best in trying to get control of this stuff. A lot of people have been displaced. It's really sad when you see people being displaced from their homes because of a fire. And we have the best firefighting equipment in the history of the universe. Why are we having record fires? Something doesn't seem right. What did Keith Sweat say? Something just ain't right. Something's not right. Something's not right. Might be something more sinister going on. The best fighting equipment in the history of the universe. Record fires. Doesn't make any sense. So Tom Brady goes into LA. I'm sure they're not going to be too nice to him at the new SoFi Stadium. Also, the New England Patriots at Carolina in Week 9. The great Cam Newton returns to Carolina for the first time since joining the Patriots last season. It's unclear if Newton will be the starting quarterback in Week 9. Well, if he outperforms Mac Jones, he will be. But you got to let people know you got to compete for the starting job. It's all friend level war. The Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers Week 3 at Levi Stadium. I will be there. Just call my name and I'll be there if they give me media passes. It's all fair. I don't pay for games. I haven't paid for a game in about 20 years. But assuming that touchdown Aaron Rodgers and the Packers can put aside the differences, and they have, then that should be a great game at Levi Stadium. The last two times Rodgers came there, they got beat. I remember Colin Kaepernick 2013. It was the NFC playoff game. I think it was the first round playoff game. The year that the 49ers went to the Super Bowl and they lost to they lost to the Baltimore Ravens. And when the lights went out, it was down in New Orleans. I remember the crowd was going nuts. It was Colin Kaepernick, I-set formation, 4 wideouts, 5 men front. We have up to the line, Colin Kaepernick, the snap. He's going to roll. He's rolling. He runs to the right. He fouls the seam at the 40, at the 30, at the 20, at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown! 49ers! That's the great Colin Kaepernick. He ran to the house. I think in that game he set the record for a playoff game passing and also rushing. He had over about 400 yards. And the 49ers said, well, he's not good enough to play football, so we're going to cut him. That's all fair level war. Don't stand up for Black Lives Matter. That might cost you a job. Right, they love diversity in the NFL. Can't wait to see that game, though. Aaron Rodgers coming back to Northern California. And then we have another great game I want to see. Maybe not as great, but I'm just going to mention it. New York Giants at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Week 11. Brady does not like the New York Giants recently, but that goes way back to when they lost 2 Super Bowls to the Giants. We do have the New York Jets at the Carolina Panthers Week 1. That's the great Sam Darnold. And he's going up against Zach Wilson, the guy that replaced him in New York City. Jets, Jets. They're rebuilding. Carolina's rebuilding. Don't know who's going to win that game. But I do want to see the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens. It should be a phenomenal game. You have Superman Jackson, Lamar Jackson, former MVP. You have Superman touchdown Patrick Mahomes, former MVP. These two teams are going to be loaded this year. I really like what's happening. Might be 2 of the most exciting football players in the NFL right now. And football fans will only have to wait till Week 2 to see them face off. Now, Lamar Jackson and Jacksonville, they've yet to beat touchdown Patrick Mahomes in 3 career meetings, but it could be time for a breakthrough in front of the home crowd in Baltimore. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. So no matter what your favorite game is, whether it's the Steelers at home versus the Cleveland Browns Week 17, that's a game to watch. Kansas City will host the Buffalo Bills Week 5. Also, the Green Bay Packers at the Kansas City Chiefs. Can't wait to see that when this game is the Super Bowl that some people thought we would have. If the Packers had been smart enough to go for it on 4th down in the NFC Championship game, Rodgers up to the line of scrimmage. The crowd is going nuts. It is 4th down and go from the 8-yard line. The snap, Rodgers looking, throws left. Has a man in his caught for the touchdown! Green Bay, Devontae Adams. But the coach wanted to kick a field goal. It's all fair, in other words. He said, I don't want to win. We played to win the game. He should have listened to the great commercial Herm Edwards put out. We played to win the game. But he said, I don't want to win. I just want to kick the ball off, give it back to the Buccaneers, and see if we can stop them. The Rams at Detroit, week 7. Quarterback swap, like wife swap, it's quarterback swap. Dallas at Tampa Bay, week 1. We'll look and see what happens if touchdown Dak Prescott and touchdown Tom Brady can square off. As we always say, rise and shine. Always look for the green lights in your life. Every light should be green. If not, don't go through it, if that makes sense to you. All fair and love and war. But love should be green. Green with envy, no, but green. Like you got the green light, all fair and love and war. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Boudini. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man, and he would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, you rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? As my mama always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no one should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a green light, a super fantastic day.